Hey guys, Buildzoid here, and this is just a quick test of the 1T command rate on the Gigabyte Z690 Aorus Tachyon. So when the board initially launched, like basically the only thing that it didn't do well was 1T command rate because it literally didn't support it at all. If you set the board to 1T command rate, it wouldn't post because the memory controller for like into the 12th gen CPU memory controller for DDR5 like doesn't really have 1T command rate support built in, so it's something that motherboard manufacturers basically have to implement on their own because the memory, like if you tried to ask the memory controller to do 1T command rate with like the Intel default configuration, it just kind of sits there and doesn't do anything. Um, so it doesn't even really try to like train the memory. It's just completely clueless. And anyway, so Gigabyte has now implemented 1T command rate support in some of their BIOSes. I'm not sure if it's available on a mainstream BIOS yet. It is available on extreme overclocking BIOSes like X3C, which is what I'm using here. That's the newest extreme overclocking BIOS for the Aorus Tachyon. And I will be leaving a link to the forum thread where you can actually get this BIOS because obviously you can't get it from the Gigabyte website, which is something I do find rather annoying because it makes, like, if you buy a motherboard secondhand, like, several years after release, it can sometimes be really awkward to get, like, the best BIOS for some motherboards. Um, but yeah, anyway, so version X3C, pretty mild memory overclock. I'm really not hammering it here, just 1.4 volts. The CPU is running, of course, with the E-cores disabled, 5.1 gigahertz and 4.9 on the Uncore because I wanted to be able to compare my Linpack results with the results from Igor's lab. And they tested at 5.1, 4.9. So, you need to run the same frequency on the core and Uncore to be able to compare memory performance. So, yeah, and I'm getting basically the same result that they were getting at 6800 CL32 1T command rate. So that's kind of fun. The thing is, Linpack on DDR5 doesn't really scale that much, interestingly enough. It's a bit weird. Because normally Linpack is actually I mean, it's still reasonably memory sensitive. It's just a lot less than it was on like DDR4 platforms. Um, anyway, yeah, so I wanted to be able to compare my Linpack result. Also, this is 44 loops of Linpack, so that is nice and stable, and 400% memtest. So this, I'm not really, well, depends how you look at it. It is 6666 megabits per second, so like kind of pushing the upper limits of what my 12900K's memory controller is willing to deal with. Because like I technically it can post above 6800. It's not very stable above like it can post 6800. It doesn't tend to be very stable at 6800 regardless of what motherboard I've tried it with. So yeah, so for daily I would consider this completely acceptable. And yeah, so not really not really hammering the memory overclock, and performance is okay here in Linpack. I also ran Intel memory latency checker, and that is doing actually 47.51 nanoseconds latency, which is yeah, I think that's the best result I've seen. And then for bandwidth, we're maxing out at 104 gigabytes per second, which is mostly just limited by. Like, the thing is, I don't think I have the tertiary timings completely dialed in. Like, this is not dialed in. The performance is solid, but it's definitely not dialed in. And it's just a 1.4 volts. And primarily, I was interested in does the board do 1T? Is it viable for like daily, like is it stabilizable easily enough? And yeah, it's easy enough to stabilize. um so yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at here. Also, if you're wondering about why the resolution is all screwed up, is because this OS that I'm currently using for testing is an OS I use for actual like competitive benchmarking. And so one of the things you can do to really minimize, and we can't currently check that because I have all this open, but basically this OS doesn't use, uh, well, yeah, no. So like the thing is, because this OS is missing things like GPU drivers, and there's a bunch of services disabled. Um, it actually defaults like Memtest Pro. If I use like a regular OS, it'll default to 1920 megabytes per 16 on 16 threads. On this OS, it defaults to 1931 because there's just less memory usage from the get-go. So that's why the resolution's all screwed up, because this is an OS I'm actually trying to keep somewhat clean. In terms of, like, there's nothing... basically, a minimum of things that start up on their own is how I normally handle that for this. So anyway, that's why the resolution's all screwed up. But yeah, so it's reasonably stable. It runs LinPack. The performance looks pretty good. So let's take a look at the settings. I'm just going to restart this. Which is going to take a while. So while it's doing that, let's go over to the thread where you can actually get the BIOS. So this is the thread where you can get the BIOS on the HardwareBot forum. I'm not aware of any other place that you can find this BIOS. And basically, if you just scroll through the very first post, it's all the way down here, X3C BIOS with Gigabyte Tweak Launcher fix. And also you can get Gigabyte Tweak Launcher over here as well. So anyway, and then if you check the Gigabyte website, there's F6C right now. I've not checked F6C. If F6C does 1T command rate, that would be super cool. But yeah, I've not checked that BIOS out yet. Wait a minute. I think I moved... Oh, man. Okay. I made a mistake. We're back in Windows because I forgot that I rewired... Like, basically, I was testing a different motherboard, and so the keyboard isn't connected to the Tachyon right now. Good job, me. I'll go take care of that quickly. I was wondering why the keyboard wasn't lighting up. Like, the mouse lit up, so I knew the board rebooted just fine, but yeah, the keyboard wasn't. There we go. Hello, BIOS, please? There we go, yeah. So, it's 5.1 on the CPU, 4.9 on the cores, 1.4 volts. I think I'm a bit high on that, but... well, no, I'm definitely a bit high on the core voltage for just 5.1 gigahertz, but I really didn't feel like dialing in the CPU stability. System agent at 1.3 volts, DRAM, VDD, and VDDQ at 1.4. Everything else on auto, because basically, so the way the DRAM, VDD, VDDQ setting works is it actually controls, like, if you only set DRAM, VDD, VDDQ, it actually adjusts 4 different voltages. It sets your CPU VDDQ, it sets the memory VDDQ, the memory VDD, and the VDD2 voltage. So VDD2 right now, if we go over to PC health status, you'll notice that VDD2 is being read out as being at 1.4 volts because I've not manually reconfigured VDD2 to anything else. But this is completely fine. The Tachyon just... this is completely fine. Like, I wouldn't be setting it up this way if I actually cared about having a different VDD2 value. The Tachyon has very different, VDD2 behavior compared to most other motherboards. And then DRAM voltage control. I did slightly bump the VPP voltage, but, like, generally you shouldn't have to do that. It's just something I've been experimenting with to see if it might not be possible. Well, it's something I've been experimenting with, and yeah, results are inconclusive. I'm just happy that this was supposed to be a quick test, so the VPP isn't really a priority here. Anyway, here's the actual timing. So the primaries are relatively loose, just 36, 40, 40, 44. TRRDs of 4.7, 4.6 might work, but I really didn't feel like fighting it. 4.4 has a tendency to spit out errors at these kinds of speeds. Very infrequent errors, but they do happen, and it's annoying, so 4.7 is sort of the easy fix for that, or the lazy fix for that. TCWL on auto, and the board sets TCWL correctly on auto. It sets it 2 below TCL, so that's correct. TWR doesn't well, if you try to set TWR from here, you bottom out at like 48, I think. Yeah, it bottoms out at 48. There's a way to go below that because, as you can see, it's currently reading out 26 for the TWR, and that's because you can control it through a different timing. RTP is at 12. Did I actually set that? No, I left RTP alone, so that explains that. TRFC2 and TRFC per bank are set as 355 and 244. which are sort of normal TRFC values for SK Hynix memory at these kinds of speeds. Then we have TREFI maxed, well, not actually maxed out, but at 65,000, TXP at 4, TWR PDEN 64, TWR pre 64, TCKE 4, and then the tertiaries, which are just very, yeah, these are relaxed tertiaries, just 12.8, 12.8, 64, 48. Well, the 48 is pretty tight, but the 64 is really loose. That can maybe do like that might do 60 or less. And then also these two could have been like 18s maybe. Also, this could probably do 11.7. I'm not sure. Actually, like I'd have to test that. But 11.7 is possible in some scenarios. It's just, yeah, I wanted this to be like, the priority for me was to see if like, hey, does 1T command rate work? Is it stable? Like, will it pass mem test? Will it pass linpack? Is the performance, like, does it perform well? Answer to all of those questions is yes, 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 and yes. So yeah, the 1T command rate support on X3C is pretty solid, and I've not really done anything else, I don't believe, with the settings here. Yeah, this is pretty much it. Like, I've not really changed anything else. Oh yeah, the X series BIOS has a few extra tricks compared to the mainstream BIOSes. Like, we have AVX 512 support, which on the mainstream BIOSes isn't available. Also, if you get a newer, like, Intel's now permanently disabling AVX 512 in hardware. So, like, yeah, so it won't be possible for motherboards to keep unlocking AVX 512 indefinitely. So, yeah, only early 12th gen CPUs will have that ability, like the ability to re-enable AVX 512. So, yeah, that's basically it for this video. I just wanted to show 1T command rate support. I'll leave for the Tachyon because that was sort of the main thing that I was wondering if Gigabyte would implement, to be completely honest. Like, when I got the board, I was like, okay, so it's really, really strong with 2T command rate. And then and 1T just didn't work at all. Like, the board literally didn't even try to train when you set 1T. And so now 1T works. So that's pretty cool. And at this point, the board has basically parity for me with the Unify X in terms of all the things it can do. But I've also had more success with 2T overclocking on this than on the Unify X. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Like, for me, they mostly seem tied. I've had slightly better results of the Tachyon, but it might also just be board-to-board variance at that point, because DDR5 motherboards seem to be kind of inconsistent. So, yeah, anyway, that's everything I wanted to show in this video, is just the 1T command rate on the Tachyon. So thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, leave any comments, questions, suggestions down in the comment section below if you'd like to support what I do here with actually hardcore overclocking. I have a Patreon, and there's a link to that down in the description below. There's also the HOC Teespring store where you can pick up shirts, stickers, posters, you know, the usual YouTuber merch. Both Patreon and Teespring help out immensely with running the channel, so it would be much appreciated if you check them out. And that's it for the video, so thanks for watching, and goodbye.